Welcome back everybody, Alan Ford here for another fish video. It's not much of a fish video right now because I'm still at work. But there is a new thing coming that I haven't told you about yet. And it's pretty awesome. And subscribe because I'm nearly at 200 subscribers. And I'm going to be getting a new camera this year as well, not this crappy phone. Crappy phone. I'm ready to go back to work. Oh. I better get back to work before I die. It's not good. This is the new fish room, all nicely painted down here. Pretty cool, and in here some very secret, top secret, cool stuff going. Boom! Lots of things happening in here, quiet at the moment. That we'll get to in a moment. Got filters. We've got gold vine, we've got power boards. We have one tank down here already. We've got more tanks, we've got clear plastic. We've got heaps of stuff going on. We got air conditioning, heaps of different things. I'm gonna strip this tank down today, even though I literally just set it up like a few days ago because I got new tanks. And those poor plants are gonna have to be ripped out of their biome again. This time for a more permanent situation. Yeah, so we'll dive into this video. We are setting up the new fish room. We've got so many different ideas in my head right now. I can't even really piece it all together. But I've bought 2 new tanks, and for this room, because as you can see here, it's actually kind of my bedroom, which is now got fish tanks sleeping in my bed. Quite retarded. So from the very beginning, this room was going to be a fish room, but now that it's so nice and I've got like a shower in here, it's kind of like my own house. I'm not going to put too many tanks in here, and we're going to breed a bunch of fish in this room and have lots of rare fish and do heaps of cool videos, heaps of stuff. So today we're just going to try and set up 2 tanks, which could be a bit of a mission, maybe even 3 tanks. We'll see how we go. But yeah, this is the new fish room. I went to Bunnings and bought Brunnings propagating sand. I got recommended this by a local aquatist who is a professional aquascaper and is huge into plants, and he said don't bother so much paying $100 for a bag that's about 2 times the size of this for soil, proper fluvial soil, and just get this propagating sand because it's got clay in it and heaps of nutrients, doesn't affect the fish, and it grows plants like a charm. And as you can see, I've got that here, but I mixed it in with the soil, fluvial soil, and the plants, I just put them in here temporarily. Actually really enjoying it, my crips. $75 worth because they're $6 a bag at Bunnings. So they're pretty cheap. They're only 5-litre bags, and I'm going to be setting up a big tank here of plants. So I got about 14 or 15 bags. Be putting them in these tanks today as well. Probably going to need to get some more bags because they're only 5-litre bags. Anyone knows anything about aquascaping, they know that it actually gets pretty expensive when you start putting together and buying aquascaping materials. Gold vine, and as you can see, this small piece of driftwood that I'm holding in my hand was basically $35. That right there is $70 worth of vines and driftwood type of thing. So that tiny bit of wood. As you can see here, we've got this kind of placement mats underneath our fish tanks, and that's just not going to do because we've got a nice wooden hutch made out of Rimu, New Zealand Rimu wood, and we don't want to wreck that. It already's got scratches, but we don't want water damage, so we went to Bunnings and bought this clear plastic matting. Only adding this because I know my frustrations. When I watch fish room videos, they don't say where they get the tanks from, which is probably because it's not relevant information and no one really wants to hear it, but I noticed that I always want to know where people get their tanks from, and I'm in Australia, so when I watch people that have Australian fish rooms, probably one of the best that I have watched is Keeping Fish Simple, and he has an amazing fish room and has just upgraded to even a more amazing facility, and that's really cool to see and quite inspiring. And I was like, wonder where he gets his tanks from, but I went to Gold Coast Pet Centre today. Kind of weird saying this, I don't know why. Anyway, I was like, wonder where he gets his tanks from, and I saw in a recent post he had Blue Planet tanks, I think they were. I could be wrong. Anyway, I got these ones. This is the only one they had there anyway in their stock. It's a 2 foot by 1 foot by a little bit more than 1 foot high. Actually, there it is there. For about $100. You don't really get them any cheaper for a brand new tank. But yeah, let's open these tanks up. They also come with lids, and I just thought I'd add that in for you guys, just so if anyone in Australia wants to set up a tank or a little fish room. So we're going to cut these straps. Ouch. Alright, so I'll take these straps off now. It's always important to check your tank for any damage. There's the lids. You've got to be careful getting them out because the corners are pretty delicate. That bottom there. And here's your tank. So here's our little update on these little guys. Got lots of plecos. I drained the 2 foot and lifted it with all the gravel and plants in it just to there for now, and then I'm just going to put this clear plastic on the hutch. Okay guys, so we got the 2 tanks up on the hutch and the plastic down. I noticed the guy that cut the plastic did a very strange job. It's really far in some areas and wobbles all over the place, so that's the best I could do. I could have recut it, but I can't really be bothered. And we got the tank lids. This is what they're like. You get one that you can lift up onto the other one, and the other one has like a cut out of it so you can put airline tubing in there. Now I'm going to order another plant light that's 4 feet long, because these are 2 foot tanks, but for now I think I'm just going to sit it in the middle of the tank. So we didn't have a pot big enough to soak these things, so I'm just going to dump them in here. To boil them, I mean. We didn't have a thing big enough to boil them, so I'm just going to sit them in here and let them soak a little bit. Actually, this actually sinks straight away. That's pretty cool. Hey guys, I didn't realise my camera was flipped around this way, but I've run into a little bit of an issue while up aquascaping. It's really hard to aquascape with a canister. It's really hard to aquascape with a canister. It's really hard to aquascape with a sponge filter because it's so big and bulky. I have a few options with that.